Folks, we're about to go live here in a second with Shane Matthews. We're watching the NCAA golf championships. If you've got your TV handy, you might want to flip on the golf channel. Fred Biondi from Florida is about to win the individual title. Gators look like they may be second right now. So on the phone with us is Shane Matthews. He's indisposed at the moment, but we will get with him in a second. So let me roll the open. We'll come back live on Melon Law Monday. Happy Memorial Day to you, and remembering all those who died for our country and served. Stand by. The Buddy Martin Show is next.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening and welcome. Happy Memorial Day. Remembering all those who served and died for our country today. On the phone live with us is Shane Matthews. We're watching the NCAA golf tournament. And Fred Biondi, last time I saw him, was walking down the fairway carrying his bag, which you do in college, and needing a par to win the individual national championships. And watching all the way is Shane Matthews. Shane, what's going on, man?
Not much, buddy. I've been sitting here for the last 3 hours watching Gator golf. As you said, Fred's come from way behind, has a chance. He's got about a 40-foot putt for birdie. Just needs a two-putt 18. It's going to be a difficult two-putt. But, yeah, Gator golf's played outstanding. They'll advance as a team to tomorrow's match play. But Fred has a chance to be only the third Gator to ever win the individual national championship. Bob Murphy did it back in the 60s, and Nick Gillum did it, I think, in 2001.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've been following pretty close. You've been watching your tweets and stuff. I know you made a couple of comments about the fact they were well positioned after a couple of rounds, and so we'll see. Who was that close to the pin? I just shot it up there.
That's a kid from Pepperdine. So
Okay.
Fred played away from the water, has a really long putt. Just needs a two putt somehow.
Yeah.
And we'll see. If not, he'll go into a playoff. Hopefully he'll just go ahead and knock this in two and be crowned the champ.
Be amazing. Another national championship for Florida. What is considered to be kind of an average down year in some regards for Gator sports. For Biondi, a guy that obviously has been playing extremely well lately, carrying the orange and blue today on Memorial Day. And hope you had a good Memorial Day. And George, I did a show this morning, and I've been pretty much hanging around the house today, just doing stuff. But thinking about all my relatives and loved ones and friends who served and in the armed services, and some died for our country. I didn't have anybody in my family per se. My dad was 4F with ulcers. My grandfather was too old to serve, and I was drafted and didn't have to go into service because my wife was pregnant. And in those days, you were able to not go if she was pregnant. I was on my way to get my orders to go, and they told me my wife was pregnant. So anyway, how about you, Shane? Did you have anybody in your family that served?
I'm sure I did along my bloodlines, but nobody that I can remember right off the top of my head. But as you said, it's a day of, thanking those type of people. Unfortunately, it's only a day. It seems like it should last a lot longer, more than like a week or a month or what have you. But, we appreciate and thank everyone who has served.
Absolutely. What great courage they showed. All right, so we're going to go live to TV here now. Somebody's in the bunker. I can't tell who that is in the bunker, Shane, right now.
That's an Illinois guy.
Yeah.
We don't care about
It's orange and blue, but it's not that color, orange and blue. Yeah, my producers yell at me to turn off the TV. Well, I can't turn it off right now. I got to watch this.
Yeah, this is history going down right here, man.
Yeah, we're going to watch this whole. I got the little bit tiny bit of volume on it. As soon as it's over, we'll switch it over. I've got a lot of competition tonight. I got the golf. Then I got the NBA. This phenomenal seventh game tonight. I'm sure you probably saw part of or all of that game of the Miami and the Celtics ending with 3 seconds. I happened to watch the second half. What an amazing finish.
Yeah, I just saw the highlights, buddy. When I went to bed, the Celtics were up big, and then I wake up the next morning and saw the highlights. I was like, "Holy crap!" So, yeah, it's been a great series, and I haven't even turned it on tonight because I'm glued to the golf.
Well, I think you're good. I think it just starts right now. I believe it's starting now. I'm not sure.
No, it's already in the second quarter.
Oh, is it really? Well, see, that's what I know. I've been getting ready for the show. Well, we got people on here, just like you do, that will tell us. Let's see.
The Heat's up 12.
All right, hang on a second. I got to make sure I'm online here.
27-15 Heat.
All right. 27-15 Heat, and I'm sure there are others out there who can help us as soon as I get my act squared away. So, all right. So, Shane, while we're waiting, we'll get into any really heavy topics, wait for the putt. But I guess we're sort of now, the next thing on football is the big recruiting months going on. And then, of course, Destin. Destin being what's going on there. So, interrupt me if something's going on here.
Well, Fred's got about a 4.5-footer to win the national championship. So, you think he's nervous right now?
Talk about a knee knocker.
So I know. See, here's the thing, but I know Fred. He's a very good friend of my son's.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I am so damn nervous for him right now.
Oh man, that's something. Well, we'll watch closely. I know you want to watch. Go ahead and call play-by-play when you see it. Let me see if I can get my other people on here and get them teed up. We'll get some comments from them as well. Okay. It's been a crazy week. It really has been a crazy week. And there's a lot of sports going on that are interesting. All right, so Dan Bond is on. We'll say good evening to him. David Baldoff. Talking about who served in their family. If you've got somebody to serve, feel free to log on and tell us about it. My uncle Harry Spivey was in one in our family. He was at Normandy, and he was my favorite uncle. He got wounded. He had quite a story to tell. He's gone now, but he came home from World War II and had his knee shot up, and he went to the movies. And back in those days, we didn't have the news on TV. We used to go to Movie Tone on the movies on and see the news about 3 weeks after it happened. And he went to the movies and went down, and lo and behold, there was a movie of him walking in front of the tank. So, all right, here we go.
Champ, Fred Biondi, national champ.
Boom, he got it. All right. Congratulations, Fred Biondi. Wow. Did you see that one coming, Shane?
Well, he's the number 3 college player in the country.
Yeah.
So, yes, they were projected to have a very good chance of winning the national title as a team. They have 4 of their 5 starters are seniors. Now, everything starts over tomorrow in match play. But, boy, like I said, buddy, we've had a lot of good golfers come through the University of Florida. Only 3 now have won the individual title, and Fred's one of them.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So now they've got another national championship with a trophy for their case. That's quite an honor, man. That's wonderful. And I'm not crazy about those unis, those yellow shirts, but I guess
they're orange, buddy.
Yeah, they look orange to me. Look yellow. Look yellow on TV. But yeah, well, if that's orange, and I guess whatever. I don't care if it's green. He won the national championship. Congratulations to him. So you know the young man quite well.
I mean, I wouldn't say well, but he's very good friends with my son. So I've hung out with him a little bit. But boy,
with Luke, yeah,
that is awesome.
Yeah, where are they playing?
They play in Greyhawk Country Club in Scottsdale, Arizona every year.
Okay, yeah. So they're getting the bath right now. And who's the coach there now?
J.C. Deacon. He's your SEC Coach of the Year. They're the SEC champs. And,
Oh yeah, you had him on your show last week, I think, right?
Yep. Starting tomorrow, they got a chance to compete for the national title.
Well, then did I hear someone say they're number 2 seed?
Tied
for number 2 seed?
Yeah. Honestly, the seeding means nothing at this point because everybody's pretty damn good in golf.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, for certain, Freddie Bundy is pretty damn good in golf. Congratulations to he and to JC and the Gators for knocking it down, bringing it home. That's a great job. Well, I know you get off and want to talk, but I want to need you for a couple other things today I want to talk about. We discussed the NBA a little bit. Before I go too far, I just want to remember a couple of people that passed in the last couple of days. One's Tommy Clinker, who's known around here, has listened to this show for years, and he and his brother Herb, and he passed, and my friend Tommy Ball passed today. So it's a tough time when you lose people this time of year, but to their families, thoughts and prayers on them. Okay, I know you don't care about it, but my Rays played well today and got beat 1-0. This guy, Marcus Stroman for the Cubs, man, I hate bringing. He looks like a Cy Young guy. He shut the bats down for the Rays, and that's really hard to do. So, anyway, that's one baseball score you probably didn't watch. I like watching baseball on Memorial Day and holidays. All right, now to the meat of things. You got your game face on. Take your golf face off. Destin. Destin used to mean spring meetings and a lot of media, and Feinbaum did a show from there and all that sort of stuff. Apparently, have you heard Shane? It's doing a little bit different this year. It's not the same thing. There are some of the issues that'll be voted upon, but they're kind of low key, and instead of having a big to-do about it, they're having individual meetings. He said the SEC, this is what Sankey said, the SEC spring meetings provide an opportunity to celebrate our achievements, plan for the future, and focus on our mission to serve people throughout the universities. We have learned a lot in the last couple of years how to conduct effective meetings through technology. We believe a combination of smaller in-person meetings on varying dates, continuing with use of virtual meeting technology is more appropriate given the current circumstances than a multi-day indoor conference room gathering. Is this the way everything's going to go now, Shane?
That's the first I've heard of all that, buddy. I haven't been following it, but who knows what the world's going to. That's crazy.
Yeah, we want a little bit of football stuff to talk about, right? I guess, and it's getting to a point where they keep taking more and more things away. All we got is what we read on Twitter. I guess you heard about the big June bloom and all the kids coming in, which we'll talk about tonight later with Kyle. But, I didn't know this, but apparently Florida only gets like 48 to 40 visits all year long. And they're going to use like 48. They're going to use 40 of or so on one 2-week period in June. I mean, that's it till fall.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that either. I guess I can get up to date on what's going on. I'm behind the times.
Well, I am too, but imagine how tough it is for me if you're behind the times. Now, here's the deal. This is from Matt Quadraro's story, which is on Gator Bait now. He'll be on tomorrow night. It says Florida's allowed 56 athletes for officials' visits every year. I guess that means basketball too. I don't know. They are set to use 43 of those in June. So they're going to use 75% of their official visits in the month of June alone. And, of course, I guess it depends on how they do. They come out of there with 4 or 5 more commitments, guys they want. They got a good-looking list. But, it seems like early to get commits when maybe they don't have to make a commitment till fall. I don't know. For Shane, I have a hard time following up. All right.
Yeah,
so,
that's all new to me, buddy. I don't know anything about any of that.
All right, so we're coaching you up along with us at the same time. I want to put this. Unfortunately, you can't see this because you're down at the lake watching. Here's the highest graded returnees, SEC in the SEC. Who are they and what number? According to Pro Football Focus. And I don't know if you know these kids or not, but I know you know the number 3, Ricky Pearsall. He's the third highest. Then Dominic Levitt from Georgia is number one. Andrew Armstrong from I can't remember, it's Ole Miss, whatever the red is number two. Pearsall 3. Squirrel from Tennessee is 4. Trey Harris from Ole Miss is 5. Malik Neighbors LSU is 6. Lad McConkey from Georgia is 7th. Fred Roberts from Texas A&M is 8th. Mouse Muhammad is 9th. And Moose Muhammad and Will Shepard 9th. They got a moose and they got a moose and a squirrel. So I don't know. I guess I know Pearsall is obviously highly rated. So there's your list. What does that mean to you?
Those things that On3 puts out,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's all talking points. It's just their opinion. I've seen them on about every position. They've been put them out there. I think Moose Muhammad, I actually played with his dad with the Panthers. He's a really good wideout. So I who knows? It's just, they just come up with some damn first 1 through 10 and rank them however they want. But yeah, Ricky Pearsall is a very good player. I think a lot of those guys that you mentioned are good players as well, but I don't know where I'd rank them all.
Yeah, it's hard to know. People like to rank everything, it seems like, and I'm with you. I don't know what it means. I could go with 10 of something, I guess, if I want to make a list up. But so we'll see how that turns out to be. All right, so the Celtics. I don't know the score now. Horford has been amazing. I love the story he told about what they happened when they went down 3-0. Did you hear this story? Apparently, they went down 3-0, and they said, we don't want to watch the film. And they all went to Top Golf and hit balls. And got the next day and got the film and looked at it. And his quote was, in the athletic story, for me, at the end of the day, I guess I can tell you our connection with this group goes beyond the court. It's more on a human level. He said, like friendships, bonds we've built here, over basketball, I want to make sure everybody's good. And I think sometimes we get caught up in everything that goes on in our business. And it's expected, it's our job. So we have to have that perspective. Now, here's the thing I will say. This goes back to something we've talked about, team concept. No matter what you do, it's got to be about the team concept, right? Team, right, Shane? That's what you always preach.
Yep.
And I think that's what Billy's trying to do, don't you?
Well, yeah, I think the culture, everything is fine. So many people are down on the Gator football program, but I really, as I've told you, buddy, I think they're going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, you've been consistent in that for sure. And I think we're all hoping that's going to be, because we think we're right about,
Well, here's the thing. It's all about one position for the fans out there. People want to just look at the quarterback position, and I get it. It's the most important position in sports. But my question to people, if, say, Anthony Richardson was coming back, what would your thought process be on the Gator football season coming up? Okay. So, yeah, he was drafted 4th in the league. That's great. But if he was coming back, would you be excited? Just because he's not coming back and Graham Mertz is probably going to be your starter, people don't believe in that. And they should. I mean, they're going to be a better football team than they were last year.
Hang on one second. My producer's bitching at me about the volume. Hold on a second. All right. Now I can do it. All right. Yeah. So I would get excited about it because I'm a big Anthony fan. Does it mean they'll be more efficient? No. Will it be more exciting? Maybe. Right?
Right. Well, the bottom line is winning football games. Doesn't matter how you do it. Mm-hmm. Go win games. And I think this team is going to win games.
Yeah, and I think we're saying the same thing. It's about the team, and I think that's what Billy's trying to say. And I think he's doing it piece by piece his way. I know he has a lot of, he believes in team concept. He's your kind of coach, I know. and he's going to try to do it with the way he's doing it now, which is, I just like to say, slow roasting. Anyway, so I think we're all waiting to see how this turns out, but I believe right now looks like and feels like things a little bit are trending his way, more so than before. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know what you mean by than before.
Well, I mean, look, first of all, the recruiting is site what is going on right now.
Well, the recruiting is outstanding.
Yeah,
I don't know what
right. Well, that's number one, but it's for 2024. Number two.
So he's been here one season, and they won 6 games. Okay. Mm-hmm. They will be better this year. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I'm just telling you, they're going to be a better football team than people think. And I firmly believe they will win 8 games.
Yeah. And someone said the other day, is the idea that you'd like to see Florida win 8 this year and then get to 10 next year. And that's exactly what we'd like to see.
Well, hell, I'd want them to win 10 this year.
Yeah. But I mean, you call that shot. You've already said 8. I haven't gotten to 8 yet. I'm still stuck around 7.
In my opinion, there's 2 teams that are better than them, and I don't think we can beat them.
Right.
And LSU, because it's there, in Georgia.
Right.
I think they can win every other game on the schedule. They may not, but I do think they can win every damn game that they play.
Well, you've influenced my thinking a little. Yeah, excuse me. I'm sorry. You've influenced my thinking a little bit on that. I've gone back and reviewed it. I went game by game last week with my guys just to say, forget everything, just go game by game. And we all had them right in between 7 and 8. 7.8, I think. When you get down, you talk about out of those first 6 games, 5 are very winnable. And if that happens, then the back half, you're actually going to go 500, and you've had a good year.
Yeah, I mean, like I told you, there's only 2 games on there that I look at them and I say, look, that other team's better than us. That means you can't beat them. But other than that, I don't see how anybody else is better than us.
Yeah, I got you.
And I don't care where they're ranked. I don't care what they did last year. You know, everybody wants to go back to last year. We lost to Vanderbilt. Well, we beat Utah last year. People wanted to play that silly game, but nothing that happened last year has any bearing on this year's team. Nothing.
Yeah. All right, let's switch over to baseball. One more thing. All right, great tournament. Obviously, BT Rivepel was fantastic. Florida looked like world beaters. But they got hammered by Vanderbilt. Somehow or another, it seems unfair that you get double elimination at the beginning and a single at the end when you win. But anyway, they didn't play well anyway. They struggled back a little bit at the end. They got hammered by a team they beat 4 times. And now Vanderbilt moved above them in all the gambling polls and stuff. I'm thinking, if I'm playing a team I beat 4 out of 5, I still like my chances, right? So having said that, here are the percentages. I don't know who did this. Some gambling group said, probability of making the College World Series, okay? I'm going to start down low. Let's start with Miami, 26.8. Alabama, 26.9. Tennessee, 28.9. South Carolina, 29.5. Kentucky, 30. Virginia, 30.4. LSU, 32.3. Florida 35-1, but Vanderbilt 35-6, and Wake Forest 44-7. I didn't know the Wake Forest Deacons were the 28 Yankees, but I guess they are. I know they're good.
They're the number 1 seed.
I know. So what do you think of that? If you got to lay a bob down,
I think Florida's got a very good chance to get to Omaha and win the national title. None of that really matters. I think Vanderbilt is very good. Vanderbilt's won a national title a couple of years ago. What the Gators did to them in the regular season and what happened out in Hoover means nothing in the next couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. I think Florida kind of got screwed. I think LSU actually has. I think I saw where they have like the easiest region out of the top few teams. So we'll see. I mean, Vanderbilt's very good. Very good.
Yeah. Like Dan Bond points out, number 1 seed is the last 20 years has been a jinx, he says. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't make it to Omaha.
Yeah.
Or they didn't win the national title. I can't remember what it is. Something like that.
Okay, Dan's sulking because he wants to go to Oklahoma City and see Florida play, and Tim Walton's team is not there, unfortunately. Not this time around. So, all right, Coach, congratulations. I got a nice little, you can't see it, nice little graphic here that my producer shipped to me. NCAA champion Fred Biondi, here's a picture of him. Congratulations again to Fred and to Luke, his friend. So I'll be on with you tomorrow morning, yes, usual time, usual thing. And good job. Thanks for being on the program tonight.
Yeah, man. It's I was a little distracted because I'm so damn excited.
I get it. It's okay. You're excused. I understand completely.
All right.
Permitted. Okay.
right,
Shane Matthews.
take care.
All right,
See you
Shane.
tomorrow.
Thank you. Shane Matthews. Getting this Gator blood going. I'll put this up here, right here. And then we're going to go ahead and do our commercials wherever we got to. First, here's Jeffrey Meldon talking about being in business with your son. That's something I know something about, so stand by. Here's Jeffrey. You guys have done so well in your business, but take me inside the organization and tell me, what's it like when dad and son kind of get in there and don't agree on things?
Well, there's two dynamics going on, right? It's lawyer to lawyer and father to son. So sometimes, when the father and son stuff goes on, you have to take a break for a minute. You just say,
yeah. Take a beat. Yeah.
I'm gonna go get some coffee. I'll be right back.
That's better than shouting. Shouting doesn't work. No, for sure. Well, being in my business, I have my son Brendan also worked with me. And it's been a test for both of us. I pity him. It's like I pity Carrie having to work for you. But bottom line is, it's an honor. Though, really.
I know your son, and he's a great kid. Yeah. And we're both very blessed to have our kids work with us. And look, it's a blessing in most regards. Sometimes it's challenging. However, there's a level of trust that you have with family that you can't replace with anybody else.
All right, thanks very much, the father-son team there, Jeffrey Meldon. And let's go ahead and do this commercial. Kyle is standing by in the green room. If you listen to me, Kyle, turn your phone sideways. We can see you better. So we'll do this, and we'll come back with Kyle. This message from our friends at Titan MRI.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
All right, thanks very much, Jeff Cardoza. And we're going to go right now to the orange and blue room. I think he's there. I think I see somebody in there. And check out Kyle, wherever Kyle is. He may be, I don't know, maybe in Paris for all I know.
Can you guys see me?
We got you, man. How are you?
How are you guys doing? I'm good.
I'm just
Congrats to Fred Biondi on that, on the golf national championship. Breaking news right for the show. That was great stuff.
Yeah, let's put that, for those who haven't heard, I can't imagine most, well, you never know. There he is again, nice win at Greyhawk, individual championship. Now they play for the team next, which will be very interesting. So another national championship trophy going to the case, Kyle.
I know. It's definitely been cool being able to be a part. I mean, tennis, obviously last year, I feel, not really unexpected, but more so, sports that's cool to be recognized. And, the golf team, they've been on top of their game. I think they won the SEC championship too. So it's been a great year for golf. And, Mark Bostic, I love going out there with all my buddies, and it's a great course.
Well, and now you also get, we got that going on. We got big recruiting months. And I don't know, I can't prove this. Francis is on next, we'll ask him, but it feels like there's a little momentum, if that's the right word to use, the June Bloom story, which is on Gatorbait now. I encourage you folks to go to Gatorbait. Join if you haven't. Read good stuff there by Kyle and my friends and by Matt. Got a story on the June Bloom. Looks like and feels like there's a little bit of momentum going for Billy Napier. I hope that's not the Gator and me talking, but I feel that way. It looks that way. I know it looks that way to you because you're always upbeat.
But Matt's done a great job in being able to cover that recruiting side of things, and he's especially with this Bloom, the June Bloom, as you mentioned. There's been a lot of recruits coming in this June visit. We recently also just got the last enrollees of the last class. So Eugene Wilson, a few linemen, those kind of guys are going to come in and round off the 2023 roster. And we were able to get I believe a 5-star number 1 athlete is coming into town. There's been obviously the talks of the Austin Simmons stuff. Everything seems to be trending in the right direction. And I think it's just a good time, and it's obviously good publicity just to, have these guys on campus and posting stuff. And it seems like everyone within the department is doing a good job setting up and stuff like that, and just making it really representable and making, these recruits want to be a Florida Gator.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So they need that. And I think Matt's story puts it in perspective. We'll have it on tomorrow night regarding that. Regarding the situation with all the prospects coming in, and they're putting all their eggs in one basket, so to speak. And so we'll see. They ought to pick up a couple just by sheer volume and numbers. But Matt says 56 athletes are allowed visits. Athletes each year. And Florida is going to use 43 of those. That's what you call going all in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah, that I think that they made it clear they're kind of putting all their chips in one basket, but I think that's kind of all in to these big recruits.
I have a little bit of problem with you there, Kyle. Your phone is breaking up, but just give us your problem.
I'm sorry, I had to go on my Wi-Fi or the iPad because the Wi-Fi is messing up here.
Yeah.
So I apologize.
Well, we'll get one more quote comment from you, and we'll move on and look for your stuff, good stuff you got going on you and Matt both, your running mate on GatorBaitMedia.com. Your final thoughts on, what do you pick a topic? What do you want to take? Give you a choice. You want to go baseball? You want to go football? What?
I think baseball. I think, this team's really starting to click. And, I may sound like a dead horse on this, but I think it's kind of a blessing that, that they didn't end up winning the SEC championship. I think that it's, nice, maybe a little wake-up call. They got the regular season SEC championship. I think it's kind of good that they were able to, get that taste of defeat, but get a little bit of success in that SEC tournament. And I think, their regional is super, super attackable, super gettable. Obviously, UConn and Texas Tech is a little tough, but I think, if they play their game, the pitchers can go 5 or 6 innings. I think they'll be in a good spot, and I'm excited and hopefully going to be able to get to a regional game or two.
I'd like to see Keck Brown get his pitching rhythm back and throw like he was. He was off, obviously, the other night, and he paid for it. Hey, final thing I wanted to say, those enrollees are Eugene Wilson, Caden Jones, Gavin Hill, and Johnson. What's his first name? Dejon Johnson. Dejon Johnson. I should never forget that, especially if he's a flashy player and a hot dog with a name like Dejon. He would be perfect anyway. So that's that. All right, so good job. Keep up good work. Read him on GatorBait and see you on the show. I call them the Gold Dust Twins. He and Matt knocking it down, doing a good job for it. Kyle Curtis, thanks, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right, thank you. And we'll go right to, let's do this. Let's say, I'm going to go ahead and flip off this Wi-Fi. Friends, if I lose you, come right back because we're getting a double echo here. All right, so take that off and take that off. And let's see if Francis is still there. He should be. The great Francis Beard. Oh, he just got his last bite in time. Probably had no time to eat today, right?
I've been busy.
Yeah. Stuff happening. Well, I don't know if you saw the golf or not. Saw Fred Biondi won his national championship. I can't count how many that is now recently, but another trophy for them, and wonderful job for Gator Golf. They needed something like that.
Well, Matt birdied the 14th hole to go 7 under, and then he went par, 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 par the rest of the way. And there's a great line from the movie Tin Cup, and I think it was stolen from Dan Jenkins from Dead Solid Perfect. Sometimes par is a really good thing, and he made his par, and everybody else screwed up. The Steelman kid from Georgia Tech bogeyed the last 3, and Matt, meanwhile, just goes par, 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 par. Everybody else made the mistakes. He just was steady as he could be, and he wins the tournament as a result.
There was a great shot at the end of the telecast of Biondi with his towel on his head, his bag strapped across his back, carrying his own bag. That reminds you about college golf. College golf is not like you see in the PGA Tour, folks. Grinding in the heat. I've played golf in Arizona several times, quite a few times. It is damn hot. I don't care what month it is or what they say, it's hot. And it just reminded you, it takes a little drudgery when you're out there hitting your own golf ball and chasing your own golf ball and carrying your own bag. But good for Matt Biondi. It was a nice win, great win for Florida, and another feather in the cap of Scott Strickland. He didn't have much to do with it, but he'll take the credit, won't he?
Well, here's the thing. Florida is now number 2 to North Carolina. That means tomorrow, when the match play starts, Florida will be, as the number 2, will be going match play against Virginia. Now, Virginia was 3 under for the day today, but they're 11 plus 11 for the tournament. Florida is -2 for the tournament. North Carolina came off the charts today. They were 1 over heading into the day. They go 7 under today. Finished 6 under. They're number 1. They'll be going against Arizona State, Illinois, and Florida State, and then Pepperdine and Georgia Tech. Those are the matchups. So the Gators get Virginia, and buddy, if I look at what they've done, Florida is really good in match play. That's how they won the SEC tournament and won the SEC championship. They won the match play. I think this is a team that's made for match play. I like Florida's chances to win tomorrow, and who knows? You win tomorrow, you're down to 4 teams, and then you got to play 2 match play rounds the next day. And I like Florida's chances. I really like Florida's chances in match play.
Okay, let's kick into football mode for a second before we got a lot to talk about in baseball, which we'll do a little later on. I'm a little, I don't know if I'd say upset, disconcerting to me. There's really no Destin and Destin anymore. They have changed the way they do Destin. Now, you and I have been to Destin several times, you more than me, and it's always been a kind of a good place where you go and you learn things. You get a chance to talk to people in the hallways. It's not orchestrated as much. It's a little looser. If my mom does a show from there, whatever. Now they're not going to do it that way. Have you heard?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, they're going to do it. They've changed the way they're going to do it. There's a lot of talk about number of games and what they're going to discuss. But now they're changing the rules on Destin. Here's what the statement from Sankey was. The SEC spring meetings provide an opportunity to celebrate our achievements, plan for the future, and focus on our mission to serve people through our university. Okay, there's an obligatory gratuitous remark. We have learned a lot last year according to how our conduct, our effective means through technology. So here, let me read that again. We learned a lot last year how to conduct effective meetings through technology. Here it comes, friends. We believe a combination of smaller in-person meetings on varying dates and continuing use of virtual meeting technology is more appropriate given the current circumstances than a multi-day indoor conference room gathering. In other words, they don't want the media there. They want to conduct their business in private. Here we go again, France.
Yeah. You've heard me talk about it too many times. These people are getting paid too damn much money to hide. I'm going to tell you right now, I like Billy Napier, but this crap about 15 minutes once a week, and then you get him for another time, 15 minutes a second time, and you get him after a ball game for maybe 8 minutes. That's ridiculous. We're paying the man's getting paid $7 million. The state ain't paying that money. The University of Florida isn't paying that money. The people who come to the ball games are paying that money. And by golly, this crap, and it's not just Florida. Let me put it this way.
Well, the whole league doing it right there. The whole league is doing it.
I understand Florida's pretty daggum reasonable when you compare it to Georgia and some of these other places. It's absolutely insane that these people get paid that much money, and they are that. I'm sorry. I'm livid about it. Their inaccessibility is that poor. Is that diplomatic enough to say it that way?
We could say it's horseshit, but that wouldn't be the thing to say. But anyway.
Well, all right. Then I'll do what I once said. What I once said when WSOC got fined for something that was inappropriately said on the air, and I was on the air at the same time, and somebody else said it, and I was asked about, because when the Federal Communications Commission fined us, they asked me what I thought about it, and I said what he said.
Yeah, I mean, I know it sounds like whining to a lot of people because it's it's the media's not getting their way. Look, I mean, I understand people don't really care about our problems. They don't care if we have to walk backwards in the snowstorm uphill in Destin, to get 5 minutes. That's not their problem. But the fact is, the free flow of information is getting worse and worse and worse. Simply being able to talk to people. We're not asking to get invited to Billy's house to eat dinner, although Ray Grace did do that, by the way, after games. We're not asking for a personal relationship. We're not asking, to have valet parking, although they used to park us up by the stadium. Now it's a mile away. Just don't matter. We don't count. And
even during the Charlie Pell years, Norm would have dinner.
Oh yeah, Friday nights
at a hotel. Yeah. We'd go there for all the media, home and away media. Yeah. We'd be there, and who knows? Charlie Pell might just drop in on himself and sit down and chat with us. Bobby Bowden up at FSU. I know a lot of people despise Bobby Bowden, but let me tell you what Bobby Bowden did. If you're a visiting media, or even the regular media, on Sunday morning after the Seminoles played in Tallahassee, they had breakfast at a hotel. Bobby bought it, showed up there, talked with everybody, and people wonder. They say, well, Bobby Bowden skated with the media. Of course he skated. He treated the media right. They weren't going to screw things up. It's ridiculous. And people who say, well, the media doesn't matter. Oh, yes, it does. I mean, I'm going to get political here. Media coverage sways elections. Media coverage sways outcomes of policies, and whether it's political or non. Media does, I hate to characterize myself as that organization, Media Matters, but media does matter. And they're sitting there and my goodness.
Go ahead, friends. Let it all out.
We're getting more and more like Cuba every day.
All right. Let it all out, friends. Let it all out. I feel you, brother. I know. Well, let me first of all say, if anybody's got a score, I can't turn my TV on. My producer yells at me if I do. So I don't know what the score is of Miami and Boston, France. Maybe you got it there. I hope to catch the second half. And can you talk about what you saw Friday night? Man, an amazing finish to that game. I happened to flip it on to watch it, and incredible.
Celtics are down 14 in the third, but the third just started.
Well, yeah, that's a little surprise since the game's in Boston. So, Al Horford has had a wonderful tournament. Really has. I've said this in the last hour, but I don't know if you read this or not. 59-43 says Jerry. Thank you, Jerry. um, about what they did when they got down 3-0. Horford was one of the ones who led it, and they went and played top golf. They didn't even watch the film after that third loss. And Horford was asked about it, and you know Horford pretty well. For me, at the end of the day, I guess what I can tell you is our connection in this group goes beyond the court. It's more on the human level. Like friendships, bonds we build here over basketball. I want to make sure everybody's good. I think sometimes we get so caught up in everything goes on in our business. It's expected. It's our jobs, right? At the same time, you have to keep that perspective. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Good for you, Al, for thinking. Remember that. It's about relationships. And anyway, I'm going to stop belly aching about what's going on in the media today, and we'll see what happens. All right, let's talk about baseball. Remarkable tournament BT Riotville had. You wrote some wonderful stories about it. They've drawn they know what they're going to do now for their first opponent, Florida A&M, in the regional, then the super regional if they be, which they should, to dominate. Bad outing for Caglione after pitching so well. But as you pointed out, doesn't really matter, does it?
No, it doesn't. And, I think he got undone by the errors. One was by Rivera. I mean, that's a ball straight at Rivera.
Rivera doesn't make that ball. He throws for breakfast, for crying out loud.
The thing about it is the ball never touched the ground. It's a line drive. All you got to do is just open his glove. Yeah. And he drops. And then Jack tries to make sure, because he's waiting on Thomas to get to third base, and he's at base, and he just needs to make the throw, and it's up to Thomas to get there. And he airmailed it.
I'm not sure why Thomas is over there anyway. That's another story. Anyway.
I can tell you why, because Halter hasn't been hitting. Halter's hitting like 220-something. And Thomas is a guy that really, really, truly produced in the past. And he came in the other day, up at Kentucky, and he had a lot to do with salvaging that Kentucky series when he came in the second game and puts the ball out of the park when they needed it. Mm-hmm. Dale Thomas can hit. He's a Bishop Moore kid out of Orlando. He's hit 3 years at a couple years at Coastal. Had a really good career there, and he's here now. And Halter, I love his defense, but his hitting has been absolutely rotten this year. I think now I will say this: Colby Halter, I would not be surprised, will be in the lineup again Friday. And I will tell you something else. I think that they'll put Ty Evans back out in right field. As much as, Shelnut can hit the ball a ton, but he's been striking out a lot lately. And we saw that he dropped a fly ball in the outfield there. He's a natural infielder. He's not a right fielder. And you're into NCAA play now, you better have your 9 best defenders out there. And Ty Evans, Michael Robertson, and Wyatt Langford are your 3 best.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not second-guessing Sully, who's been great at making decisions. Let's forget about Derek Fabian. He can play a little bit too. So I can use
yes,
him.
He can. Mm-hmm. But, Derek had that great series against Vanderbilt, and then he tailed off again. So, here's a case of a kid that I believe is a natural shortstop. And some guys, you play them away from their natural position, and all of a sudden they can't hit a lick. And you put them in their natural position, and they hit a ton. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they're comfortable at a position. They can play it with their eyes closed almost. and you put them in a new position, and they're constantly thinking, "What am I supposed to do?" If you played shortstop all your life, you know what to do. You know the ball's hit center field in the gap. You got to line it up. You're the cutoff man for third base, etc. Like that. The ball's hit the left and they're going to second. Again, you're the cutoff guy, and so forth like that. Whereas now, all of a sudden, you're playing third base. Totally different, and it does distract. Now all of a sudden you're worrying about bunts and you're worrying about other things. I think Derek Fabian next year will have an absolutely outstanding year
Yeah,
playing.
he'll be ready. I agree. I think he'll play really well once Rivera's gone and be his job. Oh.
It will be, and I think at shortstop we'll see the real Derek Fabian, and I think everybody's going to say, "Holy cow, what was wrong the first 2 years?" And I think it's just a matter of
it's like Rivera his first couple of years. Look how much he's improved after after playing 3 years.
Imagine, I'll be surprised if Josh doesn't make first team All-American.
Hope so. Although those things are weird. So, all right. So, yeah, Mary Helen McCollum, a fan of yours. I guess she's talking about purchase food from McCollum's Food Service. Okay, are you talking about? I don't know. You're talking about. You're talking about. I'm not sure you're talking about.
I don't either.
Tell us who you're talking.
So I didn't do it for my wife.
No.
Gotta have one first.
Hockey, if you're interested, Dallas getting smoked 4-0. Dan Bond, the man knows everything, keeps up with everything, has a good piece up about he's waiting in Oklahoma City. Really not for the Gators to come, but they're not going to show up in softball. That's the way it goes sometimes. So, all right. So apparently it's 59-51 now, according to Jerry Vitaliano. All right, friends, let's talk about two things. I had a quote here I was saving from Billy Napier, which sounded a little different than what we've been hearing. Let's see if I can find the quote and talk about what it means. Here, he said, "I think you get consumed with all the things you know you can do that'll affect the outcome, if that makes sense. Present actions make future results. We can sit around and worry, but there's no place for that in life. In general, you can have a plan for the day, and things we know work. You've got to get good at basics and execute day after day. Make quality decisions and empower your people. Quality control everything we do, and next time we do it better. Don't make the same mistake twice. You get us once, great. You're not going to get us again. Ultimately, that's how we've had success in the past. We've always refined the approach. We're taking what we do with our time. It is what it is." Your thoughts about that?
Well, I think Billy is hearing all the things that are out there. You know, let's face it, the media is not real pleased with Billy Napier there. I've got the Athlon book right here, and they're predicting Florida. Where is it? Here it is. Here it is. Florida predicted to be 5-7. They're predicted to finish just ahead of Vanderbilt with a 5-7 record.
Yep.
And what they're saying. They're saying Napier was never going to be Steve Spurrier, on and on and on. But they go on to say the bottom line is that if this roster doesn't look like it's the state of Florida, you can fix that in 2 off seasons when you play in the. They're being kind, but they're the kindest that's out there. Matt Hayes has, I like Matt. Matt's great, fine writer. I don't always agree with him, and on this I don't. Matt Hayes is basically, thrown Billy under the bus 116 times in a row, and waiting for the bus to back up and hit him again. But he's not the only one that's out there. Feinbaum's taking his shots at him too. I think Billy Napier knows what he's doing, first and foremost. I think he's having, however, to adjust some of his commentary, buddy, because recruits read this stuff too. Coaches get out there and they, call it a disinformation department, but Every school in the SEC and every top 10 school in the country has a disinformation department in which they take any kind of quote they can look at, spin it their way, and send it to a recruit. If I'm trying to recruit you, Buddy Martin, to come play for me, and I know that Billy Napier is after you, I might take something that he said just a little bit and spin it my way and send it to you and say, see, Billy Napier doesn't care for you. I don't even know if he's going to be here next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what's going on.
Point.
I think Billy is really having to scramble to cover for the negative media coverage.
Mm-hmm. Life as a Gator. Yeah. All right. So I want to get your thoughts on this. Talk about you had your pithy thoughts today about the 8-9 game schedule. Let's hear a word from Chris Spears first, our buddy. Come back. Franz, you have the microphone.
Hello, buddy. Chris Spears here from Prestige Auto Sales. We're proud to be the transportation partner for the Orange and Blue Show. And it's our goal here at Prestige Auto Sales to make it both easy and affordable for Gator Nation to own nicer, newer cars, trucks, and SUVs. Our phone number here to the dealership is 694-1234, and you can check us out 24/7 online at chrissaysyes.com. Go Gators!
A little bit of noise out there where Chris has his shop. Good man, good photographer, good person. All right, there's Chris. All right, tell me about the 8-9 game schedule. You wrote about the models today in your column of thoughts of the day. And so which way are they going to go?
They're going to go 9. That's what ESPN wants. And you know what ESPN wants, ESPN's going to get. And, you know, the reason being is this. You can't just take away traditional rivalry games. If they go 8 games, every team is going to have one common opponent. And then you're going to play the other teams on a rotating basis. You'll play, you'll be home and home with them every 4 years. But for example, Georgia would be between Georgia, Auburn, and Georgia, Florida. Georgia would take Georgia, Auburn. It's the oldest rivalry in the South.
Sure.
So all of a sudden, Florida, Georgia's out of the question. Kirby Smart would be the first one to as much as he wants that on campus. Kirby Smart would be the first one to tell you, we better play Florida every year because that game's a big recruiting game for him. He recruits in the state of Florida, and he needs to be in the state of Florida with that presence. The teams that really want 8 games, buddy, I can tell you who they are. Vanderbilt. Does Vanderbilt have a real rival in the SEC? And you know the answer to that is no.
I'd like for it to be Tennessee, but they're not good enough.
No, they're not good. They're not good enough to be a rival for anybody. They're good enough to be homecoming. They're not good enough to be a rival. Maybe, Clark Lee might be able to get them to the point where they can go 6-6 every year. And that's why they want an 8-game schedule, because then they can bring in Western Walla Walla and bring them in there and have a game against a team that they know they're going to beat, and that might be the game that gets them to a bowl game. They do not want to play 9 SEC games. 9th SEC games means another chance to lose. You play a Division I AA team. You play Morehead State or Eastern Illinois or somebody like that. Southern Utah, the Thunderbirds. You might get that extra win that you need. In fact, if you schedule 4 cupcakes and then you play your SEC schedule, then all you need to do is win 2 SEC games and you go bowling. So that's where the Vanderbilts and the bottom feeders of the league, that's what they look at. Everybody else knows that the 3-6 is a better format. The problem is going to be getting everybody to agree on which 3 teams. Nick does not want to play Auburn and Tennessee and LSU, as some people have suggested. And Nick will probably get his way. They'll give him somebody lesser. They'll probably give him Mississippi State or somebody like that. which probably would suit Mississippi State well, because Mississippi State, in that case, would get Alabama every year, every other year on a home game in Starkville, and they sell that out, and they travel well anyway. Especially, we've done that drive from Tuscaloosa over to Mississippi State, an hour later, you're there in an hour. And, you cross the Alabama-Mississippi line, and you're already seeing the stadium there at Mississippi State, because it's so flat that's the tallest building for 40 miles. But it's got to be it's going to be a 3-6. I mean, ESPN wants it too, because they end up getting more good games.
Well, we certainly want that. We want everything ESPN can get. Give them everything.
Well,
they own the game now, so let's not have it. Give it to let them make it up.
I agree with that, but then again, the SEC is looking for more money to distribute.
Of course they are looking for more money. Naturally, yeah.
And and particularly when you start throwing in what's going on with the Big Ten. Big Ten is far from settled on their situation, and I talked to a couple of people over the weekend who told me there is no way they're going to get that resolved in 1 year. You think about that. I mean, this was supposed to be the be-all, end-all of all media deals. This was the Godzilla of media deals. And now all of a sudden they're discovering that, okay, you can't, for example, give the championship game to another network when you're contracted for another 6 years to Fox. Fox isn't happy about that. Imagine that. Goodness. You got schools saying, up like Michigan State, saying, what? You want us playing at nighttime in November? My goodness.
Welcome to prime time.
Yeah. I mean, holy cow. I mean, we can get away with night games in November in Florida and in the South because we don't have too many cold. You want to get cold in November, you go to Missouri or you go to Kentucky. The rest of the places are pretty damn warm.
Or Knoxville.
Knoxville can get cold. Yeah. But not that many night games here. But you look at this, and there's questions about so many. If you want to know why the Pac-12 is going to expand by adding those 4 northern schools, that's going to be it, because then they can make them play the night games. Those northern schools in the Pac-12, they can make them play the night games, and they can get away with having to play night games with Michigan and Michigan State.
All right, that does it right there. That does it right now. If Sankey didn't get the job as commissioner of Czar of college football, it's got to be you, friends. You're right in. The Czar of college football. Franz Beer can fix it for us, folks, overnight.
You know what, buddy? You and I have ridden down the roads of the Southeastern Conference for years. And
the old dusty trail, as we call it, friends.
If they put you and I in charge, if they put you and me in charge of college football, give us a good road trip, and we'd have everything solved by the time we got back.
A little someday, we're good.
plus, we'd find a new barbecue house that you had never been to before.
Our Cajun place in Louisiana, which you've been known to drive 8 hours out of the way to find if it's the right one. So, Francis is always our navigator and he goes to tell us where to stay and where to eat.
I'm the resident foodie.
No doubt about it, man. Anthony Bourdain, there he is. All right, my friend, good stuff. Thank you. Check out his article tomorrow, folks. Get ready for a big recruiting week, and we get ready for some baseball. Thank you, friends. Good job. All right, folks, we'll wrap it up for tonight. I want to be sure and tell you about our friends over at Rentstar, who are just superb people, and their business is so important to our community in more ways than one. First of all, they're a stakeholder in downtown Ocala. Secondly, they do things here that impact our health for the better. And they've been doing it for a long time, and they have yours and my interest at heart. Proof positive. They want you to see if you can sign up for some of their clinical trials. They've got a first-class, high-quality, patient-centered clinical research facility right there in downtown Ocala. Rentstar brings cutting-edge clinical research trials in areas like Alzheimer's, psoriasis, osteoarthritis, migraine, fibromyalgia, along with many other conditions that affect our community right here. And they want to do these clinical trials to gather up the DNA and the data they can use to factor in when they send off this information to prominent pharmaceutical companies, biomedical companies throughout the medical industry. So you can have an impact on that. They've done more than 700 of them since they started in 1998. Rinstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. You can log on, rinstar.net, and find out all about it. Folks, thank you to our guest tonight. For Shane, who's all excited about Fred Biondi. Congratulations, Fred, for winning the national championship. Well, that's awesome. Put it up one more time here and say, yeah, that's a nice little Go Gators presser for you right there. We'll go out with that. So, also our guest, Kyle Curtis, who's got a piece up right now on Gator Bait you want to read, along with his buddy Matt Quadraro. And thanks for their good work. And also to Shane, appreciate Shane and friends. Have a good night, folks. Back at you tomorrow night. Happy Memorial Day one more time, folks. Talk to you tomorrow night, same time, same station.